Good day, everyone. Welcome to Intergalactic Geographic, brought to you by SSNN. I am Liam Farrell, your guide for today, and on this day we'll be looking at the fascinating ecosystem of Hyla II and all the flora and fauna that make up this little slice of heaven in the settled systems. I'll go over all the relative planetary data before we descend to the surface to give it a proper up-close and personal Intergalactic Geographic view. Join me on this scenic adventure as we hop into this. Now, friends, as I said, let's take a look at this planet from the safety and comfort of our ship in orbit. Hyla II is a habitable world in the Hyla system located in the more sparsely populated galactic eastern region of the settled systems. While it has an average magnetosphere, the gravity on the planet is mildly overpowering, being 1.35 times that of Earth. This will make it a little harder to navigate, but it's nothing a seasoned explorer cannot handle. Interestingly enough, the rotation of the planet is roughly half the speed of Earth, making the days here last for 50 hours. If you're looking for it, it's due almost directly to the galactic east of the Crick system, so hopefully you have enough helium-3 to avoid having to refuel in Crimson Fleet territory. Looking at the planet itself, Hyla II is host to a number of resources that aspiring list settlers and corporations alike may be interested in. We have aluminum, argon, beryllium, carboxylic acids, fluorine, lead, silver, and water. The planet also features two unique traits, aeriform life and emerging tectonics. Aeriform life refers to large fermentation vents that spout up from the ground. These vents look like long black tendrils clumped together and reaching for the sky. They are caused when fibrous plants in the area release microbes into the ventilated flora. These microbes eventually ride gusts of winds that carry them to the fermentation piles to grow new plants elsewhere. The spires of these vents help to move these microbes higher into the air, where winds are stronger and help spread plants further and easier than they would on the ground. Emerging tectonics refers to the fumarole fields containing recently erupted superheated gas vents. These vents emit sulfurous gases and indicate an active volcanic chain. These vents cause yellow rock formations to push through the surface of the planet. The yellow coloring of the rock is indicative of the sulfur present within. In regards to biomes, there are 4 of them spread across the planet. Most of the planet, 60% of it, is covered in oceans, slightly less than there was in the old Earth days. Of the remaining 40% of the planet that we can actually land on, roughly 25% of it is swampland, 10% is mountains, and the last 5% are the frozen plains at either of the 2 poles. This means that Hyla II is a very humid planet given the abundance of water on the surface and the generally humid nature of swamps in general. I'll be breaking down the types of flora and fauna that can be found in each biome in just a minute. But before that, please take a moment for a word from our sponsor. Hey there, spacefarers! Do you find yourself falling asleep in the long haul through the space lanes? Do you constantly feel worn out by the differences in local time on planets? Whether you're hauling cargo to New Atlantis or just going to visit Grandma in Aquila City, you need an energy drink that will keep you alert without the crash and with great flavor. Allow me to introduce you to Dubby Energy. Dubby offers a variety of flavors for all the discerning palates out there. From powders to shakers, from pre-made cans to t-shirts, there is plenty on offer from Dubby.gg. If you're cautious about trying something new in the energy drink arena, fear not, because for a limited time, use code DoodleFan at checkout to receive a massive 20% off your entire order. Order Dubby Energy today. Welcome back, everyone. Now let's move on to the life forms that exist on the surface of Hyla II. In terms of notable flora, there's a total of 8 different plant species spread across the 4 biomes of the planet. The Aruna Goldenglow, a tall yellow plant with brown nut-shaped ends on its branches, can provide fiber if it is picked. It's found within the swamp biome. The Calis pokeweed is a blue leaf plant with a central stalk that produces a pod-like fruit. Harvesting this fruit will provide sealant. The Calis pokeweed can be found while exploring the swamp biome, same as the Aruna Goldenglow. When first looking at the ice creeper vine, it may simply be mistaken for a pile of leaves on the ground. However, upon closer inspection of the vines with orange leaves, purple flowers can be seen. These flowers can be used as a spice. Given the name, it isn't surprising to find the ice creeper in the frozen plains of the poles, but it can also be found in the higher reaches of the more temperate mountain biome. The iceblood vine is a tree with a stringy appearance and pink fibrous growths growing from its branches. When the leaves of this plant are gathered, they can be used as a metabolic agent. The iceblood vine can be found both in the mountains and the frozen plains of Hyla II. The mountain silkweed can easily be mistaken for a shriveled, dying tree, but if the few leaves on it remain green and the top branches bear a flower-shaped fruit, then the plant is very much alive. If the fruit of the mountain silkweed is picked, one can find it to be quite useful as a nutrient additive. The mountain silkweed can be found in the mountain and swamp biomes of Hyla II. The nebula vine can very easily be mistaken for the iceblood vine from earlier, especially since both can be found in the mountains. However, while the iceblood vine has pink fibrous growths, the nebula vine has red ones which are far sturdier than those of the iceblood vine. As such, when these strands are collected, they can be used as a structural material for various projects. In addition to the mountains, the nebula vine can also be found in the swamps of Hyla II. The sweeping silkweed can be found in the swamps of Hyla II and appears very similar to the mountain silkweed, being a thin tree of sorts. In its environment, it can blend in with other flora rather well were it not for the large red fruits it produces. While these fruits may be picked, it is highly toxic, so SSNN is requiring me to say it should not be ingested under any circumstances. The sweeping silkweed can be found in the vast swamps of the planet. The final plant we know of on the surface of Hyla II is the spiral bloom. The spiral bloom is one of the more pleasant plants to look at. With its dark blue, numerous leaves, and its symmetrical flowers atop its central stalk, it is quite easy to spot amongst the other plants in the mountains where it lives. The scent of this plant is equal only to its visual beauty, as many prize the spiral bloom for its pleasant-smelling flowers acting as an aromatic. Regarding the fauna of Hyla II, there are 8 different species of animals roaming the surface, ranging in both size and temperament. Let's start with the humble brain blimp. The brain blimp filterers fill the skies above the swamps of the planet. Flying in large flocks with one eye on either side of their bulk, they are prey creatures, but will attack en masse should one of their flock be attacked. They are not terribly powerful, so any handily equipped explorer should be more than capable of repelling an attack. If one of these gentle beasts happens to be near the ground, their true size can be observed. Easily as long as a man, they are much bulkier, yet they are still able to take flight. The hide of the brain blimp can be used as a biosuppressant. Another gentle denizen of Hyla II is the small centiskull scavenger. This crustacean can be found along the waterways of the swamps biome. Having 12 legs and a hard shell, they scurry along the ground searching for any scraps of plant matter or even decaying carcasses of larger creatures. In addition to their natural defenses of their hard shell, their vital fluids are also toxic, so take care when handling. They are peaceful creatures and will not retaliate even when attacked. The next creature we will discuss today is the frightening and aggressive Echeurodon. These creatures are larger than a man and have a distinctly insectoid appearance. However, looking more closely at their head, they almost appear to be a fungal creature of sorts. They are extremely aggressive and frequently roam the mountains and swampy landscapes of Hyla II in packs. They frequently hunt the less aggressive tongue-faced grazer and dry-horn grazers that inhabit these areas as well. They can choose to attack with their large mantis-like arms, or, at a distance, can spit a harmful goo-like substance at prey. Despite the appearance and lethality of the goo, the glands that produce it can be used as an aromatic. Another predator that inhabits this world is the lockjaw. Unlike the Echeurodon, the lockjaw is a strictly defensive creature and sticks to its mountain habitat. It will emit roars in an attempt to ward off hostile creatures that it doesn't see as food. If it approaches too closely, however, it will attack, so it is best to give these creatures plenty of space when wandering the mountains. While the lockjaw is not as frightening as the Echeurodon, it is still not a beautiful creature. Regardless of this, some manufacturers prize the tissue of the lockjaw as a cosmetic additive. In the mountains and swamps of Hyla II, there is no other creature as plentiful as the tongue-faced grazer. Tall, unpleasant-looking beast, the tongue-face derives its namesake from the dangling protrusions that hang from its mouth atop its long neck. Looking reminiscent of giraffes from the time of Old Earth, the tongue-face has a slightly awkward gait due in no small part to its large, trunk-like legs and feet combined with an awkwardly long neck. These creatures are not hostile and appear to have differing responses to attacks. Some will pursue the attacker while others will simply flee. This could be a case for a difference of response based on the difference in sex of the individual creature, but there appears outwardly to be no difference between a male and female tongue-face. The carapace of these creatures are rather fibrous when collected and processed. The trihorn grazer is a large quadrupedal creature resembling a large bison of Old Earth. It appears as a solitary creature on many occasions, but some have also been observed living in small herds as well, gathering in the rocky areas of its mountain habitat. The trihorn grazer is a defensive creature, but unlike the lockjaw, it's both herbivorous and does not emit any sort of warning roar. These beasts, despite their size and rough skin, are not terribly durable. However, their bones are quite strong, seeing as they can support their bulk and allow for quick movement as well. As such, their bones can be used as a makeshift structural material. The trilobite filterer is a small crustacean similar to the centiskull. These trilobites are also remarkably similar to the trilobites of ancient Old Earth. They can be quite long relative to their size, roughly the length of a human leg, but their hard shell is their only defense. This may explain their relatively small numbers across the mountains and frozen plains they inhabit. Unlike the centiskull, their vital fluids are more viscous and allows them to be used as a viable sealant. The final form of fauna we know of on Hyla II is the Unishark scavenger. Looking incredibly similar to the narwhal of old Earth, being a large, strictly aquatic mammal, the Unishark sports a large twisted horn on the top of its head, likely used for spearing other aquatic creatures that we've not yet uncovered beneath the waves. The Unishark will not attack people who venture into the water, likely because they do not view humans as a threat or a meal. In order to keep their bodies warm in the water, they have a high-quality metabolism to generate internal heat. The gland that increases their metabolic rate can be harvested for use as a metabolic agent elsewhere. And thus concludes this episode of Intergalactic Geographic. Today we explored Hyla II, from its flora and fauna to the conditions of the planet itself. I am glad to have been able to host this episode for you, and everyone on this Intergalactic Geographic team hopes to see you again. If you learned anything today, please let us know in the comments below. If you'd like, feel free to subscribe via SSNN to catch all of the latest episodes as we explore the settled systems together. So that is all today, explorers. I hope your adventures bring you joy and excitement, and stay safe out there in the space lanes. I've been your host, Liam Farrell, and until next time, gentle viewers, we will see you again, sometime, somewhere, amongst the stars.